Hey guys, it's Alina here, and today I'm going to be talking about my favorite beauty items for 2016. Instead of doing a December favorites, I just figured I would just talk about my favorites for 2016 and just leave it at that. So before we get started, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up if you love favorites videos and you want me to keep doing them, because I'd be happy to do that. So let's go ahead and get started. Everything is kind of just scattered here. I'm gonna do my best to get it in order. I tried to get items from every category, but I feel like there were some categories that just didn't have anyone that kind of stood out, I guess. And I think majority of these items, I think all of these items actually are makeup. I was gonna do skincare, but I don't know. Skincare is another beast. Let's start with eyeshadow palettes because I have this obsession with eyeshadow palettes. I have so many of them. I just love eyeshadow palettes. They're the hardest thing for me to get rid of. I just love them so much. So I was able to narrow it down to 3 eyeshadow palettes. All 3 of these palettes were released this year. Some of them you can no longer get, and some of them have been re-released. So if they are available, I'll link them in the description box. The first one, not a surprise, is the Too Faced Sweet Peach eyeshadow palette. So I picked up this palette when it was first released, and I did use it quite a bit, but I have rediscovered it lately. I've actually been loving colors that I didn't think I would ever use, like the ones on this side. I don't know, I just love it. But my all-time favorite shade is this shade Bellini. The shade Bellini is just so stunning. It's just such a pretty shade, especially if you're doing like a halo look. So the next palette I think was on just about everyone's best of 2016 list, and it's the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette. In my opinion, this is the first and only Anastasia Beverly Hills palette that is a standalone palette. I have all of them, and not one of them can create, I mean, maybe some of them can create one look, but none of them can create multiple looks on its own. Even the newest one, Master Palette by Mario, what that palette is lacking is a light matte cream shade, and then it would be fire. This palette has a variety of shades. I just love it. This Warm Taupe shade and Bone Fresco are amazing. I love the reddish shades. I tend to really enjoy that burgundy palette, but I don't really get to wear it that often. I mean, I still wear it, but it doesn't really look as flattering with my hair color now. So while I feel like this is a best of 2016, I don't really get to wear it as much with my hair color now, which makes me sad. I'll still push it and wear it, but these burgundy reddish shades just don't really look that great on me. But I still think that this is one of the palettes of this year. And finally, they made a standalone palette. Congratulations. And the last palette is no longer available, which I hate to show it to you guys, but it's definitely best of 2016 in my book and other people's book. And it's the Lorac Mega Pro 3 palette. I've taken this on trips, mainly because I have a backup just in case it gets shattered. But this palette is definitely my favorite of all of the Mega Pro palettes. I have all 3 of them. This dusty mauve shade is incredible. The pomegranate shade, rust, rose quartz, sequoia. I mean, this palette is just unbelievable. Really, really amazing. Just fabulous. I feel like if you only owned this palette, you'd be all right. You'd survive. Moving on. So the next one I'm going to talk about is a contour palette, the Lorac Pro Contour. I don't remember when this came out. I have a feeling it came out last year, but this is really the year that I put it to work. So I started using this palette when my Kat Von D Shade and Light palette was hidden pan, and I was getting sad about it. So I started taking this palette around, and I'm so glad I did because I fell in love with it. What's so amazing about this palette, it's got a beige highlight and a yellow highlight, so set your under eye area or your brow bone or whatever if you like kind of a more matte highlight. I will admit that I don't really use the deep contour or the medium contour, because for me the light contour is just right. If you're a little darker than me, then the medium contour would be great, but this shimmer highlight is so stunning. It's super pigmented, and it's a shimmer highlight, but it's not a glittery highlight. So if you don't like glittery, this is an amazing highlight. And the reason why I love this palette so much is because If I want to downsize what I'm bringing for a trip, this has everything that I need. You know, yes, I would love to take other highlights, but I can survive. Like if I need to pack everything into one suitcase, one tiny little suitcase, I can survive with this palette. It gives me contour, it gives me under eye setting, it gives me highlight, as a, you know, mirror. It's very, oh Jesus, not bulky, amazing. So as far as blush, I've been obsessed with the Hourglass Ambient blush palette, but I feel like that's something that I've been using since it came out last year. I think it was last year, or maybe even the year before. I don't know, but this year I've been getting tons of use of it. But I did find a blush that did come out this year, and I've been obsessed with it, and it's actually a drugstore brand. It's the CoverGirl True Blend Blush. As far as I remember, there are 3 different shades. So this is the medium shade. I have the other 2, and I do like them, but I feel like this is the best one. It's so stunning, so flattering. It has kind of like a sheen to it. I don't want to say shimmer. It kind of has kind of a glowy look, but not too glowy. It's just perfect. It's just stunning. I love this blush. It was a dome shape, and it's not a dome shape anymore. That's how much I use it. Okay, so next up is a powder. This is my IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Pore Pressed Powder. I love this powder. It makes me very happy. I use this to set my foundation. I use this to set my under eye area. It's just amazing. I love it. And because it's in a pressed form, it's a lot easier to travel with. It's less messy. It's just bomb. I don't really use the little spongy thing in it. I use it with a brush that I'm going to show you in a second. But yeah, the stuff is amazing. So the brush that I use with that is a brush that I've talked about in other favorites of this year, and it is the Sephora Pro Olive Powder Brush. This is number 61. Last I checked, it no longer exists. They discontinued it, but it pops up in the sales section ever so often. I believe regular price, this brush I think is $48, something like that, but on sale it's $25. If you ever see it in the sales section, number 61, this powder brush is amazing. It is super, super, super dense, and it's amazing for like patting on powder, which is what I like to do. I don't like to like swirl it around. Amazing. Another brush I love that I think I talked about in my last monthly favorites, but it's still a freaking favorite of mine, is the Sephora Pro Featherweight Blending Brush. This is number 93. This is my favorite highlight brush. It's amazing. I love it. It's nicely tapered, picks up the right amount of product. The Sephora Pro brushes are amazing. They're super pricey, but they're really amazing and they last forever. The first one I got was the stippling brush, forget the number of that one, and I got that 4 years ago and I still use it. It's amazing. Continue on with highlight. So my favorite single highlight did come out this year. It is the Urban Decay Afterglow Highlight in the shade Sin. It's so pretty. It's so, so pretty. Some of you guys may not like this because it is pretty shimmery. I'm wearing it today, but it's so stunning. So, so stunning. I'm gonna be sad when this runs out. I got this, I think 40% off at the makeup show. So, so pretty. All right, face products. So I have 2 face products in the sense of like foundations / CC creams. I have 1 and 1. So for foundation, it's got to be the Too Faced Born This Way foundation. I'm in the shade Nude. I'm pretty sure this foundation came out this year. If not, it couldn't have been. Actually, no, it didn't come out this year. It came out last year. But that's okay because I just really got into it this year because I finally found my right shade. This foundation is amazing. I absolutely love it. It's just incredible. I love how it blends. It's decent coverage. If you haven't tried this foundation yet, you should. Go to your local Sephora or Ulta and get yourself a sample. And then the other one is the IT Cosmetics Your Skin But Better CC Cream. So I actually purchased this a while ago, and I got the shade Medium, which works. I can get by with it, but I recently got the shade Light, and that is my correct shade. They don't have a lot of shades in this. I hear that they're coming up with more shades, so that's good. But what I love about this is that it's got really decent coverage and it's got SPF 50, which is unheard of for like foundations or CC creams or whatever. I live in South Florida, so SPF is not optional. Granted, it shouldn't be optional anywhere you live, but especially not in South Florida. So yeah, I've been loving this stuff so much. I take it on every trip that I go on. It's usually what I wear during the day. For concealer, I have two. So I have the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Under Eye Concealer, and I have the Bare Minerals Bare Skin Complete Coverage Serum Concealer. Pretty sure neither of these have come out this year. One of them is new to my life and the other one is rediscovered. So I actually bought this, I think around the same time that I got the CC cream, or maybe like a little bit later. And I think I used it maybe once or twice, but this was I think before I started using damp sponges as much. And this is like incredible when it's blended out with a damp sponge. It's amazing for the under eye area. The only issue I have with this is that it's a little harder to set. You really have to apply a very thin layer and let it dry a little bit, set it, and all that. But once you do, it's amazing. So, so great. And then the Bare Minerals Bare Skin Complete Coverage Serum Concealer. I've been loving this for my under eye area. The reviews were amazing, which is why I ended up getting it when it was on sale during Ulta's 21 Days of Beauty. And I have been using it like crazy. It's just incredible. It's very like thin. It's hard to explain, but it just makes the under eye area look amazing, which is great when you're not 20 years old anymore. Yes. Continuing on with the under eye area, I gotta talk about Smashbox Photo Finish Hydrating Under Eye Primer. Again, I don't think this came out this year, but this year has been the year of this for me. I've been using this like crazy. I have so many of these deluxe sample sizes from various gift with purchase and things like that. So I'm kind of stocked for a while, thankfully, because it is a little pricey. But this stuff is amazing. It like totally hydrates my under eye area. I still use an eye cream, but adding this has changed my under eye area concealer game. It's amazing. 2016 was definitely the year of color correcting. I think every single brand came out with some sort of color corrector, whether it be in a bottle form or in a palette form. But my favorite has got to be the ones from Urban Decay. The Urban Decay Naked Skin Color Correcting Fluid. I have the shade Peach and the shade Green. Shade Peach I use to correct the under eye darkness, and the green shade I use to correct all kinds of redness I've got going on. I've been trying my hardest to use other ones because these are basically running out, and that makes me really sad. But every time I use another one, I'm like, these are so much better. Just the formula is just so much better. With these, the formula is a little thicker in my opinion, so you get more color correcting coverage with these. They kind of like stay put, versus some other brands that I've used are a lot more liquidy, so they kind of just like sheer out to just nothing, just a weird like cast of green with like red peeking through. It just makes no sense. These are amazing. For eyeliner, I haven't been wearing that much eyeliner this year. For me, this has kind of been the year of not so much eyeliner. But when I did want to use eyeliner, my favorite has got to be the Tarte Tarteist Clay Paint Liner. I know I've had this in a favorites before. I love that it has like the little well, because it just seems so much more sanitary than like sticking your brush into a pot and then putting it on your eye. Like you can always disinfect that little well area, which I haven't done, but you can. But really dark, easy to apply, it's just great. For brows, I have just one item to talk about because this item is something that I've had for years, but this happened to be the year that I just went nuts over it. I went nuts over it. It's the IT Cosmetics Brow Power in Universal Taupe. This thing is amazing. Amazing. I don't know why it rocks my world so much. I feel like when I first got it, I was like not a fan, or I was just kind of like meh, and I was still using like the pencils that you sharpen. But this has re-entered my life earlier this year, and I've just been using it nonstop. It's really the only pencil that I take on trips. I just love the shade of it. It's just such a perfect shade for me. I like that it's not sharpening, like you don't have to sharpen it, and the shape of it, it just always seems to work out nicely. And the thing about this is that the harder that you press, the darker it comes out, but you can also like do it very lightly, and it can work for like blondes. It really is a universal taupe. And then it also has the spoolie on the other end. It's just amazing. I actually just finished a little one. I literally just finished it today. It has to go in my empties bag. For mascara, I'm not entirely sure when either of these came out, but they were big favorites of mine for this year. The first one is the Marc Jacobs Omega Lash Mascara. This was like my favorite for the first half of the year. And then for the second half of the year, it's gotta be the IT Cosmetics Superhero Mascara. This. If you want your life to be changed, try this, please. One of the days of Vlogmas, I actually did an up close and showed you guys my lashes with just this on. So I'll try to link it. If not, just go check out my vlog channel and you can find it. This one I do love, but I feel like this is one that I prefer in the deluxe sample size rather than this full size. Because when I got the full size, I loved it, but I find that it dries out fairly quickly. See, like it gets pretty gunky pretty quickly, which sucks because it's very expensive, but still really good. Just like with the eyeshadow palettes, I happen to have an obsession with lippies, so I have quite a few of them, which is totally fitting. So let's start with the IT Cosmetics Je ne sais quoi lip balm. I think this was just in a favorites video, but like I mentioned in that video, this thing does not leave my purse unless it's gonna be mentioned in a video. Even when I put this on at night after brushing my teeth, I literally go walk to my purse, put it on, and put it back in my purse. This thing is amazing, and the lipstick I'm wearing right now is so drying. I can't wait to take it off and just rub this all over. It's just so good. Just so good. It feels so nice, but doesn't feel like too heavy for a lip balm. It's just perfect. It's just perfect. I have two of Too Faced Melted Matte Liquid Lipsticks. I think these all came out this year. If not, they came out late last year, but I got them this year. And the two shades I have are Queen Bee, which is like a really pretty mauvey purpley toned, and then On Point, which is kind of like a burgundy, like vampy type shade. Also really, really pretty. Both of these shades I've been wearing like crazy. I love them so much. From Colourpop, I've been obsessed with the Ultra Satin Lip in the shade Molly. Pretty sure this is the Ultra Satin Lip, but because Colourpop packaging sucks so much, it doesn't even say Colourpop on it. So thankfully I know that this is Colourpop one. Like literally all the writing is gone. This shade is like such a pretty purpley type mauve shade. It's more purple than the Too Faced Queen Bee one. It's just such a flattering color. I just love this shade and I wear it a lot. Another shade that I've worn like crazy this year, and this would not be a 2016 favorites if I didn't mention the shade, it's the Kat Von D Everlasting Liquid Lipstick in the shade Lovesick. This has gone on so many trips, it's been in my purse a lot, and that's why the packaging looks horrendous. This shade is just amazing. It's just such a flattering, kind of cool toned pink, but not like too cool toned, if that makes any sense. It's a really pretty mauve pink. You can tell the mauve pinky purple is like what I've been doing this year. And I would be remiss to not mention this combination, which I also rocked a lot this year. It's the Tarte Tarteist Lip Paints. I've got TBT and then Namaste. Namaste to me is pretty light. I can't wear it on its own, but popped in the middle of this, it's just so pretty of a combination. Every time I wear it, you guys ask me what it is, so I had to mention it. And then the last item I'm going to mention is something that I only discovered recently, but it's got me so shook that I need to get all of the shades. And it's the IT Cosmetics Your Lips But Better lip liner. It's in the shade It Girl. But this lip liner is like butter. The lipsticks are also amazing. I probably should have mentioned them. They just apply so like, it's just so hydrating. They're not drying at all. They're incredible. I'm not usually a huge fan of lip liner, but I really like these. So I can't wait to try some more colors. So those are all my favorites for 2016. Definitely leave me a comment and let me know what your favorites were for this year, because I am totally curious. So I hope you guys enjoyed this favorites video. Be sure to give it a big thumbs up if you did, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!